driving it or you're leasing it, get this system checked out the next time you have an opportunity to bring it in for service. And specifically, what you're looking to have checked out is the adaptive crew, the Bendix radar mounting bracket, and the parts kit is the Anchor Wingman. Okay, it's the Wingman kit, the Anchor Wingman kit for the front radar. Right? Got that? Anchor Wingman kit. So, I happened to be passing through Omaha earlier today, and I was getting loaded there, as a matter of fact. So I got loaded, and I got to the shipper early, got loaded early. I was well ahead of schedule by at least half an hour, 45 minutes. Okay, you know what? Got some time. Let's call over to the local MHC Kenworth here in Omaha and see if there's an opportunity I can get the truck and get this problem solved. Called them up. Spoke with the service department and said, hey, this is the issue I've got. This is what I was advised. The problem was, do you guys have any flexibility to get me in this evening, or are you wall to wall? The service lady, very nice, said, let me put you on hold and talk to my service guys. We'll see what we got. I said, okay, no problem. She puts me on hold for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Comes back and says, yeah, come on by. We'll get you to our triage bay. We should be able to get you sorted out tonight. Get this looked at. Now, there's a catch, though, she was telling me. We can diagnose it, but if we don't have the parts, we'll have to order them, and that could be, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. I was like, okay, well, I'll come by, we'll diagnose it, we'll see where we're at. Okay, no problem. Pull up to the MHC Kenworth at Omaha, right off 80. Get checked in. Service writer says, yeah, we got it. The guy who'll be working on your truck, he's got a couple of trucks ahead of you, and it's going to be figure 2, 3, 4 hour wait because he's doing quick jobs that are to trucks that are just sitting here in the lot. No problem. We'll get you in, get you looked at, but it could be 2, 3 hour wait. Okay, that's fine. That's kind of what I figured it would be. I'm okay to wait. Let's do this. Like, all right, we'll get you written up, sign here, and we'll get you checked in, get you going. Okay. So I go to the driver lounge after I've been wandering around the lot looking at trucks I can't afford, that I'd love to afford, but I can't. So there were some beautiful W900 long hoods on that lot. Boy, I tell you what, there was a couple of, there was one 100-year anniversary Kenworth W900 that I was like, oh man, if I had 200 grand in the bank, I would have bought that truck. No question about it. But I don't have 200 grand in the bank, so all I could do was stand there and dream and wish and pout that I had that kind of money to blow on a brand new long hood semi-truck. Anyway, turns out the repair job was a lot faster than I thought. It was only about an hour or so of labor because the tech pulled the bumper off, and it turns out that the bracket, essentially, it's 4 mounting points. 3 of them were broken. And he was like, yeah, it's a good thing you got this in here when you did, because if that 4th one had gone, you might have been in some real trouble. I was like, oh, good Lord, well, good thing I'm here. He said, yes, it is. But here's the good news. Now, if you're familiar with MHC Kenworth at all, you know that they're a little more expensive in the article of their hourly labor rate, at least in terms of comparison to other Kenworth shops and some mom and pop shops. That's just the nature of the beast. You're paying more, in my opinion, because you're likely to get faster service at an MHC Kenworth, depending on the nature of your problem and whether or not you're going to be waiting with your truck. And of course, also, if you're nice to the service writer and the staff, and the mechanics and the technicians at the dealership. If you're nice to them, they might do some favors for you. Because like I said in an earlier video, you don't mess with people who work on your truck because that could cause you problems later. Anyway, turns out this job to get the bracket replaced, get the mounting kit put on there, and get the radar recalibrated and remounted, the whole job, I paid a grand total, and I will disclose this, $407.17 at the MHC Kenworth of Omaha, Nebraska. Now, bear in mind, that is the price I paid on September the 14th, 2023. If you're watching this video and you have this problem and it's 6 months from now, it's a year from now, or 2 years, or whatever, the price can be radically different. It can be much more expensive, it can be less expensive, your mileage will vary. However, I would say it is cheaper to get that issue sorted out before that bracket fails all the way, and then have to pay more to possibly have your radar system repaired, rather than just simply remount it and recalibrate it. And also, it took so little time. I think I was there for maybe a grand total of an hour, maybe an hour and a half altogether, because it just so happened that I called ahead and they said, yeah, we'll get you into our triage bay, we'll try to get you sorted out as fast as we can. And then it turned out that because I was sitting there waiting, maybe because I was nice to the service writer, he asked the technician, hey, can you get this guy in and out? He's being polite. Or maybe it's because there were other trucks that were on the list of trucks to do, but the drivers for those trucks or the owners weren't there, so they weren't mission critical, whereas I was there. And they were like, okay, well, this guy's here, he's waiting, let's just go ahead and get him in, get him out, get him on the road. It's a simple job, as long as we got the parts, let's just go ahead and knock it out. Okay, good deal. So, quite a few things went my way to get this problem sorted out. Now I have my cruise control back, which is really nice, because I've missed having my cruise control. And I don't mind driving without cruise control, because I grew up driving without cruise control. But when you do 125,000 miles a year, cruise control is awfully nice. And again, if you have a legacy T680 with over 500,000 miles on the odometer, I recommend that the next time you're in a Kenworth dealership to get something checked out, you ask them, hey, would you please check out the mounting bracket on my front radar? It's to let me know if it's worn out or starting to wear out, so that I can get that issue sorted out before it becomes a real problem. Because that is one of those things where it could be a much bigger problem when it fails all the way versus when it just starts to fail. If it's just starting to go, pay the money, get it done if you can fit it into your budget for that repair cycle. Otherwise, if you can't, get it done as soon as you can. If you are advised, yes, the bracket is starting to wear out and it needs to be replaced. Because I don't know what would have happened if I had not gotten this bracket replaced and the fourth point had failed. I can only assume it would have been awful. Maybe my radar would have fallen entirely off the truck and been ripped off on the road. I have no idea. But now I don't have to worry about finding out, because I've had the problem fixed, which is really good news for me. So again, if you have a T680, legacy T680 with over 500,000 miles on it, get that bracket checked out, because I was advised that my bracket was going bad when the truck had, I think, around 570 something thousand miles on it. And I don't know when it started to go wonky, because I didn't have any issue from the bracket with my cruise control until it just went out on me a few weeks ago. Okay, so critical points to be aware of. Your cruise control will still work up until I guess 2 of the 4 points fail, and there's enough wobble and wiggle in the mount where the adaptive cruise isn't getting clean data from the radar. But the radar will still work. It will still warn you of impending collisions. A symptom of your mounting bracket going bad, potentially, this is potential, this is not certain, this is potential from me, my driving experience, a symptom of your mounting bracket starting to go bad is if your Bendix radar starts throwing you false collision warnings. You need to get your truck in and get that radar system checked, at least get it plugged in for a diagnostic and see if it just needs to be recalibrated, or a software patch, or you need to have that bumper pulled off and have that bracket checked. Because right before my cruise control went out, my adaptive cruise went out, I started getting a lot of false collision warnings from overhead signposts and bridges. Okay, so I was getting those false warnings, and when I started getting those warnings, like, okay, well, in here, get this sorted out, get this fixed up now while I have the time and the flexibility before it becomes a real problem. And, you know, unfortunately, I didn't have the time. I called the different shops and said, hey, can you get me in? Can you get me checked out? It's like, no, you know, we're booked out real bad. You know, it's going to be 3-4 days, or we can't do it same day. You know, things like that. Which that's totally fine, because I was calling to see if it could happen while I was on the road to get it fixed up. But fortunately, MHC Kenworth of Omaha was able to get me in and get me sorted out. And I do greatly appreciate their professionalism and the service that they performed for me. So I would definitely recommend MHC Kenworth for your service needs for Kenworth trucks, because I've had a really positive experience there as well. I would also recommend MHC Kenworth of Omaha, Nebraska. I'm sorry, not Omaha, Memphis, Tennessee. I've had a good experience there. And also MHC Kenworth of Rock Island, Illinois, and MHC Kenworth of Columbia, Missouri. I have had really positive experiences at all of those MHC locations, so I feel very comfortable and confident in recommending them to anyone who needs service done on a Kenworth truck. Because again, I've had positive experiences at those locations, and if I have an experience at any other location for Kenworth and it's positive or negative, I'll be sure to give the appropriate shout out as needed. But for now, YouTube, it's time for me to park and get this truck shut down for the evening. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you down the road.